Welcome everybody to this little Zoom chat that we have today with the illustrious Mr. Frazer Hines.
Hello,
there he is.
hello.
You have to imagine the applause, Frazer, and the that's it. Wearing that for Wit Robo.
Yes, yeah, and Billy Davis if he's looking in.
Yeah, our pal from New York. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, it's lovely to see you, Frazer, as always. Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
So how are you doing in this this wonderful time we call lockdown?
Oh, I'm missing all my American friends, because as you know, I should have been in Howe, where I'm the godfather, with Ken Deep and the gang, and then I should have stayed over a couple of days and then flown into Chicago, Gene and all the gang. So, I'd rather be with all my American pals than sitting in my house.
Yeah, in sunny England, which is of course now in the middle of winter. So it's
God, yes.
It's rather fabulous, isn't it? It's rather fabulous. So you've actually been quite busy recently, and we've got a few questions here from people. I'm going to kick off with this is from Charles from Victoria in Canada.
Hello, Charles.
Hello, Charles.
Victoria.
And it's I know you've known Sylvester McCoy for many years now. How did you like working with him on the film Lost at Christmas, and maybe explain what Lost in Christmas is?
Oh, we had great fun because Sylvester and I have been on these Doctor Who cruises for Dan Harris, and we actually got through the takes all right. We had twinkly eyes, and the two leads in the film, I don't think they looked at us too much because we had twinkly eyes. But Sylvester was great, and we were playing Highlanders. We thought we'd make it a bit sort of like this, the way Jamie was actually in the Highlanders, my first ever story. So our Scottish accents, would you be after getting a little drink for me like this? But it's a great film. The two leads, Natalie Clark and Kenny Boyle, they are fantastic. It was shot entirely on location in Scotland, so which is wonderful. No sets, no studio, all on location. And I really do think, because the Americans have this great love for Scotland and Highland and all the stuff, I think it was it'll do really well in America, because it's shot in the Highlands as well, not in Glasgow or Edinburgh. It's shot in the Highlands, and there's real snow, and you're cold, and we were sponsored by a whiskey company, so we weren't allowed to drink whiskey during
Are they since gone out of business?
With Sylvester and I, yes. And Claire Grogan's in the film as well. Claire Grogan, a lot of fans will remember from Gregory's Girl, and what was her hit record? Happy birthday to, was it? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Right. So when might the film be available to see, as far as you know?
It's in the cinemas, and hopefully Boris will open the cinemas for us on the 4th of December, and then it's going on, I think, iTunes or somewhere like that for on the 7th of December. But I think with say 1 million Doctor Who fans, we should have gone straight to DVD. We'd have sold 10 million goods worth. But no, we're hoping to get a red carpet, David, in London, and then one in Edinburgh as well. So hopefully we'll get, and then I've suggested that we ought to bring it to America and go to Grumman Chinese Theatre, where I had another premiere last year. So keeping our fingers crossed for that. But it's December the 4th in the cinemas, and then I think it's iTunes and YouTube. No, not YouTube, iTunes.
It's called Lost.
But it's a great film.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, Lost at Christmas. It was originally Perfect Strangers, but it's called Lost at Christmas now.
Fantastic.
Because it's a rom-com. It's a lovely rom-com.
Yes, I think I've seen the trailers available online, isn't it? So
yes,
so people can
some great reviews.
Yeah,
great reviews as well.
Fantastic. So from Sylvester McCoy to Charlie Chaplin, and we've got a question from Todd from Illinois. What was your experience? Hi, Todd. What was your experience working with Charlie Chaplin in the King in New York movie? So we're kind of going from the latest to one of the earliest.
Yes, that's right. So my last film, one of my early films. Well, I worked a lot in movies as a little boy, so we were brought up that it was a job. You weren't really in awe of somebody because, but he was a lovely man. He was really lovely. He actually said to me, I'm this little boy making cakes and picking my nose and making holes. And he said, do you know When Stars Are Brightly Shining from Tosca? And I said, no. He said, well, you sing what you think is his opera. So I was going, la, 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 la. When I got home, my mother said, you should have told him. She opened the music stool, Todd, got all the music out and made me learn this damn song. So the next day I went to the studio and says, Mr. Chaplin, yes, Frazer, yes, Frazer. I said, la, 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 ta-dum. And he said, Frazer, I was very, very pleased with what you did yesterday. But you could see he thought, this little boy's gone home and he hasn't sort of knocked on people's door and run away. He's done his homework. So later on, just how precocious we were at Corona School, I said, Mr. Chaplin, I've got an idea for some comedy. And instead of him going around the ear, I'm Charlie Chaplin, I'm producing, starring, directing, acting, you know. He said, what's your idea of comedy? I said, well, you know, you got a fur hat. Why don't I get my cream and put it in your hat and you put it on? Isn't that funny? He went, no, Frazer, because I would see the cream as I put the hat on. But if we use your idea there and we cover it in cream and make it into a cake and I sit on it, then we have the comedy. And he was so nice to listen to a 10 or 11-year-old kid. And that's why nowadays, if I'm doing a pantomime and a little kid says, oh, Mr. Hines or Frazer, I've got a gag, I'll always say, what's the joke? Because you never, Charlie Chaplin listened to a 10-year-old kid, and that's me. I always listen to little kids. Lovely man, though, lovely man.
What's your memories of him? I mean, on set and stuff, was he very focused, serious, or quite light-hearted?
Oh, no, I've got a lovely photograph on my phone that somebody sent me of, there's myself and two of the other little boys in the scene, and he's doing something like that. And he's making us laugh because one little boy's going, oh, my little teeth are going, he, and the three of us are laughing our socks off. So, you know, he obviously, I can't remember what he said, but he must have said something really funny because we were just, you know, he made it fun to work with. There was one little boy, though, not in that photograph, who missed his cue. He had to come on to say and tap the headmaster on the shoulder. And twice he missed the cue for the rehearsal. And Charlie said to the first AD and assistant director, said, I don't think we'll be requiring that young gentleman anymore in this film. So he was actually,
it was quite hard.
Oh, yes, you couldn't fool around with him.
Yeah, because he was directing that film as well, wasn't he?
It was, but the funny thing is that, Todd, the funny thing is, he showed me what to do. He said, Frazer, this is what you do. He said, you're singing opera, and then you go over to the oven and you go, oh, shit. And you put the stuff in the oven, close the door, come back. So I did that. Then I went up to the oven door, I went, oh, shit. And he burst out laughing. I said, oh, have I done it wrong? He said, no. He said, no, Frazer. When I showed you what to do, I touched the oven handle and an arc light had been resting on the handle. And the handle was very hot. And that's why I went, oh, shit. He said, I don't want you to do it on the take. So I think that's another thing he took to me because I just did it, you know, verbatim.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But, no, happy. In fact, somebody said, was it you said the other day, David, that I'm probably one of the few actors in captivity that has worked with Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, a couple of people mentioned a couple of others that might still be around, but there's not many of you still working.
David, one of the boys in the film that Charlie had to pour some soup over his head, David Tilley, who was a school chum, he actually became first AD on Doctor Who, actually, David Tilley.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so I saw him recently at a convention and we recall those days, and he'd forgotten actually he'd worked with Charlie Chaplin. So you've forgotten working with Charlie Chaplin.
I suppose if you're a lad, you know, and you've done a lot of stuff, it might have slipped your mind, all these people.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, I've always
talking about Doctor Who there, I've got an interesting question here from Iden, I think, or John. I can't even see. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Let me put my glasses on. Iden, I-D-A-N, Iden from New York. And he's asking, did you ever get to keep any of the props from your time on Doctor Who?
Oh, don't.
Were there any props you wished you could have kept?
Oh, no. I kept so many props, space-age sunglasses, but the one prop, I was carrying this box of props around, you know, and I moved house about 3 times, and the 4th time, I got all these things I'm carrying around in the garage, slinging them away. And that was before Doctor Who came back. and I had this wooden Yeti that sold at Bonhams, or I think Debs had one as well, and she got about £8,000 for it, for this little, wish I kept that. But then when I did the Two Doctors, I kept my shirt, that lovely frilly shirt, and I wanted to keep the kilt because it's a wonderful wraparound kilt. And the wardrobe department said, Frazer, we can get away with the shirt being lost in the laundry, but we can't, we can't say the kilt got lost in the. So bless them, the wardrobe ladies let me keep that.
Yeah. Now you had a shirt from, was it Seeds of Death? The black shirt.
Oh, that black one. Yeah,
with the strings up the front or something.
That's right. Yeah, from Seeds of Death. That was because it was Bobby Bartlett was always trying to get me to different costumes. No, Jamie always wears the khaki shirt, like an army shirt, and that sort of woolly jerkin. And in the end, she said, "Oh, please, Ray, let me make you something," because she's always making stuff for padders. Or, she loved making leather suits and short skirts, whatever. So I said, "Oh, okay, all right." So she made me this shirt, which was very, very tight. And luckily, in those days, I was quite fit. I had a six-pack, but it was very tight and cumbersome, and I only wore it for the Seeds of Death. It was just too restraining, too restricting. It felt like you were in a corset. So I kept that for a number of years, and then I think I gave it to. I think I sold it to somebody. Yeah, I think I sold it to somebody.
You did. So you weren't tempted to sort of stuff a Cybermat in your bag or anything?
Oh, I've got a Cybermat, yes, but I think that's homemade, not by me, but by somebody else.
One of the ones from the show, yeah.
Is
he there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's great, Ivan. Thank you for those. Okay, so we've got another questions here. Let me see. This is from Ace in Michigan.
Not Ace, not
Ace.
Sarah. Oh, Sarah Aldrin.
Not Sophie. Ace in Michigan. I've read.
You've got a baseball bat.
I've only got words. I don't. She might have. I've read that the Kilroy was here.
Yes.
Was a thing. That's on the wall of Invasion as you're climbing up the lift shot. Was a thing that you and Patrick did on set together.
Yep.
Can you think of any other fun, memorable stories about you and Pat Troughton that you haven't told before?
Oh, the Kilroy was definitely, because in those days, Kilroy was, people were always marching. Kilroy was here. There's something from World War II on bomb sites and stuff. So we put, and lucky Dougie Camfield let us put it in, because Maurice Barry would have said, no, you stopped running that. But I mean, what I haven't told, I've been doing a lot of conventions, and I think I've told my favorite one, obviously, is from the Tomb of the Cybermen. That was my favorite one, where Patrick and I take each other's hand, and we think it's going to be Victoria. But there's one more, actually, and I think the DVD is out somewhere. It's the Ice Warrior story with Peter Barkworth. And there was a model of the space station, and it's all snows and Christmas trees. And the camera started off at the beginning of the show, the Ice Warrior, whatever it was. And it was near Christmas. And I got this little Santa Claus, and I put him down amongst these Christmas trees. And because of black and white, you couldn't notice. Nowadays, and I still think that if I can get a hold of that DVD and look, and now you can freeze frame, I think there's a little Santa Claus by a Christmas tree. So
I'll have to have a look for that.
Look out for that, yes.
You've never said that before, so I've never looked. So I'm going to go and do that after we finish talking.
Yeah. What was it? It's the Ice Warrior. What was it called? The Ice Warrior story.
Yeah, it's called the Ice Warriors. Yeah, Ice Warriors.
What was it called?
Yeah.
It was the first Ice Warrior one, with lovely.
Wow.
Bernard Brett. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So I'll tell everybody now in America, the Ice Warrior story will be freeze framing that.
That's it, freeze framing.
And then zooming in.
Yeah, I love the Seeds of Death as well. The opening of that, where you and Pat are determined to get your line in into that opening scene.
Look at the size of that thing, Doctor. Yes, we're always trying to get that in, and we did. When we landed in the museum and we walked in, and
and then Wendy crashes your line because you were ad-libbing, she wasn't prepared for you to say it.
No, size of that thing. And of course, we got it in later in the Two Doctors.
Yes.
When the producers, when John Nathan Turner wouldn't let us say it, but we got it in.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Mm.
Here's a good question for you. This is from Felix from New York.
Felix.
Another chap from New York. Fantastic. Hi, Felix.
Hi, Felix.
There have been one or two small nods to Jamie McCrimmon in recent Doctor Who stories. The most obvious being David Tennant's Doctor using Jamie's name as an alias during an episode.
Yeah, I remember that.
If you could choose how a new Doctor Who might play homage to Jamie, what would you want them to do?
Oh, definitely wear a kilt. I think definitely wear a kilt. Yeah, yeah. Even Jodie will look terrific in a kilt. Jodie Whittaker. She could
have like a rainbow kilt.
Yes, she could. Yeah.
Because she's got that rainbow top thing.
But I want to go back to Doctor Who and just say, hey, Doctor, my legs are better than yours.
I'm going to pop these on again. That's fantastic. Oh, hello.
Somebody sent me that. It's a Jamie flower pot.
It's like a Jamie fruit. I am Jamie.
Yeah, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Lots of things sent to me.
That's fantastic. So here's another. This is a good question. So Frazer, as well as Doctor Who in the UK, you were in Emmerdale for a great many years. And I know you've done a number of fan appearances for Emmerdale, and you've done a lot of stuff on television, looking back at the series and all that kind of thing. This is a question from Scott from Minnesota. What are the likes and differences between soap opera fans and Doctor Who fans?
I think Doctor Who fans are fans, proper fans, whereas soap opera, Doctor Who fans will ask, can you sign in, or will you send me a photograph? But the soap opera, it's not. Emmerdale, it's not such a big. There's no Emmerdale Farm conventions for a start. So I think that's a big difference. Is the fans, and also the British fans. This is going out in America, lovely. The American fans are so pleased to see you, whereas the English fans say, well, you've only come down the M1, you've only been 3 hours in the car. But the Americans are so pleased to see, my God, so you've flown 6,000 miles to see us. They're so appreciative. They're so appreciative. I love, that's why I'm so, miss my American pals and fans. And I made a lot of friends,
Because I think you experienced sort of general fans when you did all of the gigs on the boats. People don't know what that is. Perhaps you could explain what that means on P&O and stuff like that.
Which boat?
You basically would go on a cruise and basically do a gig every night for all the passengers on the boats.
Oh no, in my one-man show.
Yeah, and obviously you're meeting all sorts of different people there, not just Doctor Who fans, but fans of everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but again, I do my one-man show on these cruise ships. You go on a cruise ship for 2 weeks. You have a week's holiday, and then you do your one-man show twice, where I talk and show film clips of the chaplain and people like that. But again, they're very well behaved. They just they see you walking down the deck or a bar, they'll just leave you alone. They won't come. But I did a thing last year called Doctors, and the writer Lisa McMillan was a fan of Doctor Who, and she wrote my character. I don't know if you can get Doctors in America, guys. I don't know, or on PBS or whatever, maybe. And she called the character Sonny Troughton after Patrick. And the actual scenic designers, they were great Who fans. In fact, I'm just going to leave my screen for a moment. And he's back.
And
the designers, my character had to open my laptop and see the newspaper headlines, and it was the local Gazette. And I don't know if you can see that there. This is the newspaper headlines, and all my stories. And bless them, they said Ice Warriors, and they said Torval and Dean are skating. And they said War Games, or the Seal Knot Society will come. The Bond Snowman pop group, and then the Highland Cattle are coming into this, and they gave it, and it was so sweet. They
That's
laminated
brilliant,
it for
isn't
me.
it? Isn't that brilliant?
They wanted to see my face when I opened the computer. I went, and I just, on the rehearsal, I just opened it. Oh, lovely.
Oh, that's brilliant, isn't it? That's absolutely brilliant. I've got a couple more questions here, but before we go on to those, I was going to ask you about kind of almost the new life that Doctor Who's enjoying at the moment through these animations that they're releasing.
Yeah.
So what's your kind of take on them? So Fury from the Deep was the most recent one.
Yeah. Well, I always say I don't like the animations because they're better actors than us. But no, I'm so pleased they found them, because up until then it was just audio. But now you can, and they're very good with Patrick. You know, Patrick's look and eyes and his eyes, really the animation. And it apparently takes like half an hour to go to do one raised eyebrow or shaking a hand, the two hands meeting. Like you could draw it slowly. And then, it takes ages and ages. But I'm told it's difficult to do the kilts because all the pleats and the kilt, you know, to try and get all those moving and swaying. That is very, you know, I was told by one of the animators, she said, "Oh, I wish you hadn't worn that kilt."
Because you were involved in the Fury release, of course, because you went on a wonderful little trip.
We did it with Chris Chapman took me and Mad Mike, the pilot, and Michael E. Bryant, who was the first AD, and Moya, went out to the forts, the old steel forts where they were there for World War II to stop the Jerry aircraft coming over. And they took us out on this lovely big old sort of tug out there and filmed. They actually went on board to climb up the ladder. But because I've got this rotator cuff in my left shoulder, the ladder was literally, David, like that. Yeah. And I thought, if I'm going to, you know, you only can't climb one-handed. You can't go like that.
No.
In fact, when we did the first Dalek story, where I'm going to rescue little Debs, and I have to climb this rope ladder, and Derek Martin's the director, is right, Frazer, close up with your hands, just your hands, as you go up the rope ladder. So I went, and he went, cut. And he went to the corner. He went, Frazer, I said, yes. If you climb up a rope ladder, I said, you spotted my deliberate mistake. That.
You'd have fallen off on the first hurdle.
Yeah. But so I couldn't. Sorry, I digress. I couldn't go up those ladders. Well, I wanted to, but it was great fun. And see Michael E. Bryant again. He hasn't changed at all. He hasn't changed at all, Michael E. Bryant. And it's funny because he and Maya, they're so welcomed by the American fans that I mentioned to Sean and Gene and various other. You've got to have these two. And they were going to. Gene, I think Gene was going to have. Ken was going to have them in New York, and then Gene was going to have them here. And then because we can't, because they would be two very good guests, because they talk about behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. Absolutely, it's Margot, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great because I really enjoyed the Fury from the Deep production animation, because I mean it's a great story with some great guest stars and stuff in it. I mean, do you remember Victor Madden at all?
Oh, Victor Madden, he was a movie star. In fact, yeah, in those days we were getting a lot of movie stars to appear with, you know, Jack Watling for a start, but you know, Victor Madden, Colin Gordon. Wanda Ventham, they were all film stars, not just television actors, they were film stars. And Victor Madden was great. He lived in not Loughton, somewhere down in Essex, and we were filming, and he said, "I'm going to tell my wife you're dropping in for tea." So he got home, he drove home, and he put these big sheets in his garden. His wife said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, Frazer and Patrick, and they're dropping for tea." Well, why do you put the sheets out in this helicopter? And we actually dropped into for tea, because he had his big mushroom farm. Victor had his big mushroom farm. He was always trying to get me and Patrick to buy shares in this mushroom farm.
Mushroom farm?
Yeah, mushroom farm, yeah. He was a mushroom farmer.
That's a bit strange. Okay.
Yeah. Must have been money in it, or well, it's good to have a little string to his bow if he wasn't acting.
Yeah.
But of course, Mad Mike, you see, going back to Mad Mike the pilot, we flew in a French Alouette, which is a French helicopter. It was a big 5-seater. It's one we had in the Invasion as well, when Robert Sidaway, when I climbed up the ladder. And we took off and were chubbering along, and he went, "Oh, who speaks French?" And he went, and I said, "Well, I can speak a little bit." He said, altitude. Well, I said, "What's altitude?" "Oh, yeah, altitude. Gasoline." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I can't speak French." And all these guys were in French. We go, "What do you mean?" Of course he could speak French. He was just taking the proverbial out of it.
He was playing with you.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Bernard Bresslaw was an unlikely person to kind of appear in Doctor Who, particularly under all that Ice Warrior.
Well, yeah. Well, God bless him, because Bernard, again, another movie star, Bernard Bresslaw, and they put, by the time they put on the false lip on, and then the helmet, and then it could have been anybody. And I actually said, "Bernie, why you could actually just sit in an armchair in the corner of the studio and have one of the extra actors walking and doing a movement, and you just do it." He said, "No, I want to be the, how to do it." And it was his idea, actually, because the script was just written normally. It was his idea to do the hissing sounds. He said, "If we're reptilian, you will." And it was his idea. I thought the script was just not. So it was actually Bernard Bresslaw that got all the Ice Warriors to to be hissing about.
That's incredible, isn't it? That's incredible.
Yeah.
And while we're on the subject of sort of guest stars and stuff, I saw very sadly that Louise Pageau died this week.
No.
Yeah, apparently. I don't know if you'd heard that, but
you lived in Australia, I believe.
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah. Didn't you meet her for one of the commentaries or something recently?
No. Who was it? No, that was played in Astrid.
Oh, Mary Peach.
Mary Peach. That's what. Mary Peach. But I was going to see Louise when I did a panto last year in Australia. Oh no, year before last in Australia, and we just never got the right time. Oh, she was a lovely lady, Louise Pageau.
Yeah. You were quite lucky with a lot of the guest stars, weren't you? They were very, very good at their jobs, and
they're all very good. But we broke them. We broke them. Wolfie Morris, who was playing Pabas and Barber in the Detson Monastery, he started at the read-through. "You evil eyes." By Wednesday, he was going, "Hello, Doctor." We broke him. He wasn't fooling around. You've got to fool around the first couple of days of rehearsals. Otherwise, by the time you get to the studio, you'll be just getting the giggles. We've got the giggles out first. So when we go to the studio, red light comes on, you do it.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Okay, let's find another question here. So I've got a question. Oh, I don't know if we can do this one because we haven't prepared it at all. This is from Donald in Ontario. Can Fraser do a quick scene of Jamie and the Doctor from a TV episode which is not the big ones? Look at the size of that thing. Can you do something other than that from an episode?
Oh, God. I should have.
But this is only 40 years ago, Fraser. What do you mean you can't remember the scripts?
Yes. But that's the one I do. You see, when you look at the size of that one. Yes. Oh gosh. If you warned me, because I've got a Jamie puppet upstairs, and I did a little thing recently. In America about a year ago with my Jamie puppet.
Oh well, maybe when we finish this main interview, we'll do another little piece that they could perhaps run in as a little teaser. Maybe we'll do that. That would be good.
I know somebody's put it on Twitter actually. If whose question was? If he looks onto Twitter,
that was Donald.
Somebody's actually Donald. Where's your trousers? Donald on Twitter. If you're a member of Twitter, somebody's actually put me dressed as Patrick and my little Jamie doll, and we're doing some dialogue between us on in America.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic! That's really. I think I was there. That was a great convention. That was Long Island, wasn't it, or was it Chicago? I can't remember.
I think it was Chicago. We did actually. I did once, and Sarah Sutton, bless her, because she was there. and we had a welcome to the Doctor, and the spotlight was on the stage, and there was a TARDIS. So, and I had a microphone backstage. So I was going, "Now then, Jamie, we're going to come and see." "Oh, but Doctor, here, no, here's Nissa. Nissa's just getting into the shower." And then Sarah said, "Yes, boy, do you mind leaving? I'm trying to have a bath." And we go, boom. And then she goes, "No, close the door, and you're outside the bathroom. Thank you very much." "Jamie, you nearly got on." "Well, who's out there?" "Yes, we've got some terrible Americans." "Well, I mean, terrible Americans?" Yeah. "Well, they're not fake, they're red coats." "Yes, I thought that." And so we did this little just on the bare stage. So how's that, Donald? Well, hopefully. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So we've all been having fun.
That's the thing about the Doctor Who. Let me tell you. That's the thing about the Doctor Who companions and doctors. It's a family. You know, I said to Sarah, when Wendy Padbury's got to go out with some friends, and will you do this little sketch for me? Of course you will. And we're such a, you know, if you're doing a signing and you look down and somebody's line's bigger than yours, you never feel jealous. You always say, "Oh, I'm glad so-and-so's doing well." Or they'll come up to you, "How have you done today, Fraser?" "Oh, yeah." And that's the lovely thing about this Doctor Who family. There's no jealousy. There's never, "Well, our shows were better than yours. Our scripts, we were in colour, you were in black and white." There's no jealousy or animosity. That's lovely. Big family atmosphere.
It's really good, isn't it? It's really good. I was going to say, I've got another pandemic question here. Did you ever think that you would live through a pandemic? And what advice do you have for people who may be struggling during this time? And this is from Kathy in Illinois.
Kathy, well, to live through it, it's Kathy, I've got some brilliant neighbours. You know, I do go out. I live in a village, so it's not as though you're walking out your front door and you're in the middle of London. I've got a lovely village. I walk around and people walking their dogs. We all wear masks. We look after ourselves. But I've got a lovely neighbour on the right. Her and her husband, they bring me Sunday lunch, which was lovely. David's wife will pop round, you know, socially distance, and leave me a big cottage pie or something steaming away. So luckily, hopefully you've got great friends like me that, you know, I don't know how old you are, so I won't ask, but that's the thing to do during the pandemic. But my trouble is, it's the nights get lonely when it gets dark, and I'm not, during the day, by the time I've read my paper and answered emails and stuff and watched a couple of cowboy films, Audie Murphy films, you know, the day goes very quick. In fact, I've been watching so many cowboy films that my TV stopped working. I opened the back and these dead cowboys fell out. So that's the trouble there. But no, hopefully you've got some nice friends like me to look after you.
Yeah, I don't think there's necessarily a trick. Don't think there's necessarily a trick to it, is there? You just sort of take each day as it comes, keep positive.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stay safe. Yeah, stay safe.
Stay safe, absolutely. Stay safe. Stay safe.
Yep.
Oh dear. I've got one more question here, and then we'll have to extemporize. This is from Alice. Excuse me, Alice in Michigan.
In Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland.
Well, Michigan. I've never been to Michigan. Have you ever been to Michigan?
No. I'm thinking of St. Paul's, Mississippi, St. Paul's. No. I don't think there's ever been a Michigan convention. I don't think I've been.
Anyway, Alice is in Michigan. Hi, Alice. And she's asking, what are your top 3 fondest memories from working on Doctor Who? So what are the top 3 things that come to mind when you think back to those days?
Well, without being flippant, you know, Patrick Troughton, Wendy Padbury, and Deborah Watling. Those the top 3. That's so easy to say. But yeah, working with Patrick was wonderful because he was such a lovely person. If I had an idea for something, he wouldn't go, "No, look, you know, I'm the Doctor. You know, you're just a companion. You stick to the script." He'd go, "Oh, Fraser's got an idea. Fraser's got an idea. Yeah. Look, yeah. Oh, no, we all get excited to do this joke. And I say the 2 girls, you know, we get arrested the way we treated them, you know. But they were great lasses. They were good fun, you know. But just, you see, when I did the soap, you see the same people more or less for 3 years. The second fun about Doctor Who is every 6 weeks you've got a new monster, a new cast to talk to. So Patrick would be one, apart from the 3 girls, the 2 girls, Patrick would be one. The excitement of what's going to happen next? Who are we meeting? What monsters? You know, have they got a new monster? Oh, it's the Daleks again. That was, and probably the third would be actually riding in a Dalek. I always wanted to ride in a Dalek, and it came to pass that we were doing the Dalek story, and you're not allowed to touch the props. You must, in case you break things. So I broke for lunch one day, and I crept up to the studio, and there was this Dalek. So I opened the lid and closed the lid. Yeah, exterminate, exterminate. And I suddenly heard somebody coming out. Could be the director. I just sat, and there's these two actors, and they came and leant on my Dalek. And of course, you can't see inside a Dalek. And they leant, and they were running the show down. The director couldn't direct a pig to be dirty. The script is awful. This, that, and the other. And after about 3 minutes, I went, I had that, and I walked away, and they fell off me. Who's in there? Who's in there? Who's there? I said, I'm gonna report you. I got free beer for the rest of the week. It was marvelous. But those are 3 good memories.
Oh, that's brilliant, Frazer. Do you have a particularly favourite monster that came up?
I think my favourite monsters were the Cybermen, because they were always taller than us, and there was no emotion. There was just those 2 dots, and whereas the Ice Warriors, you could see the rubber chin of the actor. The Daleks, well, I suppose, right. But I think it was the Ice Warriors, because just those that dead, I'm that dead sort of voice. That was the sort of,
yeah. That's interesting, because John Pertwee always used to say that he actually really liked the monsters where you could sort of see the mouth, because it made them a bit more believable, that they seemed a bit alien to him when you're acting against them, because you can see sort of the physicality underneath it.
I think Patrick had a little ploy with the Ice Warriors, that he said when they were talking, because sometimes the lip would just be slightly out of sync, so he'd get one of the Ice Warriors to just tap their hands if they're out of shot. So Patrick knew, oh, you're the one that's talking. Yeah. And you're talking. Yeah. Oh, you're talking. Yeah. Merry Christmas. Before I forget, Merry Christmas to all my fans in America.
Yes.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
So this is Frazer and Robin rather than Batman and Robin. That's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
Because you worked with some child actors as well over the course. Was it the servo robot thing in Weed and Space and the Quarks?
Oh yeah, the Quark. What was it?
Are these little lads in?
Yeah, what's his name? Willie. He went to become in Crossroads.
Freddie Foot.
Freddie Foot. Yes, he did the Quarks. In fact, my pal, our pal Billy Davis in America, he built a great Quark.
Oh yes,
and he's in it. He's in it. And he used to walk around with me, and if he'd open an arm, I could put my gin and tonic or my vodka and tonic on his arm. He was like a walking bar. It was great. Cheers, Billy, if you're watching.
Yes, cheers. we love you, Quark. It's fantastic. Oh, fantastic. So I think you've been out in America several times for Thanksgiving, haven't you?
Yes, I love it.
So what is it about the American Thanksgiving that you like?
The turkeys. The turkeys are what I feel turkeys in England always seem to be dry. I love it the next day with a turkey sandwich, but in America, I don't know why they feel like they've been soaked in butter. It's wonderful, and the turkey legs, they're huge. You can walk, crikey, get one home. But they do pile my plate up with grits and whatever, and cream potatoes. I don't like those horrible, what are those yellow potatoes? Those orange potatoes.
Sweet potatoes.
No, I don't like sweet potatoes. I like Jackie potatoes. I like the Jackie potatoes. And again, I love coming over to Chicago, because Gene always gives us Friday afternoon, evening, we hightail it across the road to the shops and buy sweaters. And I always buy a new suitcase and then just fill it and take the jeans. I've got a lovely pair of blue jeans. I'm wearing them now, actually. I got $34. And in England, they were like £84. Yeah. And my pal, Colin Spall, who played Mr. Crane, who's been to conventions 2 or 3 times, he said, will you bring me some jeans back? And I bought him 3 pairs of jeans for about 90 quid, where it had been £90 for 1 pair of jeans.
Yeah.
But I parked at I was away for 2 weeks, so I parked at his house. So I said, look, that's my parking fee. I just gave him the jeans. I couldn't take money off him.
Oh, bless you. Bless you. Oh, that's fantastic. I think we're nearly out of time, and I think we're nearly out of questions. I've just
hang on 1 second.
I think we've asked all the questions.
Right, all right, right. This is what I just put this. They go on my mantelpiece, and the little bells. What's the bells ring? You know, he's got a little bell. So Merry Christmas, everybody!
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. It's a reindeer
They go
pocket
on
line. Fantastic.
It is. They go on my mantelpiece at Christmas time.
Oh, that's brilliant. It's been an absolute joy talking to you, Frazer. Thank you so much.
Great fun, yeah.
Thank you. And very, very kind regards to everybody out of this virtual Chicago TARDIS that's happening.
Virtual hugs for everybody in America. Yeah. Chicago TARDIS. And I hope to see you all in person next year.
Hopefully.
Cheers, Gene.
Hopefully. Thank you very much, Gene. Thanks, Steve. Thanks to everybody who makes CT so awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Frazer Hines, thank you.
Yay. Bye. Bye.